Weird Strict Dad is one of the craziest games to come from Roblox yet. But what would happen if I brought it into Minecraft? So for the next 100 days, I'll be surviving as Weird Strict Dad. Using my variety of ghostly abilities, I'll search for all 12 ingredients to the cure and transform into more powerful forms. Will I be able to stop Xenobus from possessing my family? Or will the curse completely consume me? You'll have to watch until the end to find out. On day 1, I spawned in as Dad inside of my home. I was sitting at the table with my wife and 2 kids, eating a dinner of instant noodles. Suddenly, we all heard a knock at the door. Don't worry, kids. Dad's got this.
Dad, wait!
I opened the door and saw a terrifying cloaked figure standing in front of me.
Boom! Your soul now belongs to me, Xenobus!
Without warning, the entity took control of my body, transforming me into Weird Strict Dad. I gained 3 hearts and new blood/slash abilities, but my mind became shrouded in darkness.
Dad, you're scaring us.
It's 10 p.m. Why are you all awake? I lost complete control of my body and ran violently after my family. On day 2, I was chasing my family through our house as Weird Strict Dad. I slashed out with my new powers as they ran upstairs in desperation. My kids ran into the bedroom, but when I made it inside, all of the lights had been turned off and they were laying in bed. Ah, good. You're all sound asleep.
That's what you think.
Without warning, my wife ambushed me with a rock, throwing it at the back of my head. In a blind rage, I unleashed my new powers onto her. The 2 of us fought our way down the stairs, but it was clear that I was faster and stronger than she was.
Hanzo, please! You're our family!
Suddenly, I felt something deep in my chest. Her words allowed me to gain control for a moment. Honey, is that you?
I'm sorry.
She took her chance and hit me with her weapon, causing me to tumble down the stairs into the dark basement. Before I was able to escape, she locked the door, sealing me inside. Things went from bad to worse as Xenobus' dark minions came crawling from the shadows of the basement. On day 3, I used my powers to fight off the incoming dark minions. I was able to take down a few, but there were too many for me to take on alone.
Give in to Xenobus' power. He will consume you.
Never! I used my blood/power to knock them away from me and made a run for another part of the basement. I managed to find another room and blocked myself inside, only to realize I was now surrounded by books. What is this place? At the center of the room, I spotted an alchemy book and opened it, revealing to me a list of ingredients. Find all 12 ingredients to brew the ultimate potion. This is the only way to stop Xenobus and regain control of your body. Just then, I felt a liquid drip onto my head. When I looked up, I realized that the ceiling was leaking milk. What the? Suddenly, the door broke open and the dark minions swarmed into the room. On days 4 through 5, I was about to be leveled by the incoming enemy. I knew I had to act fast, so I used my blood/attack at the leaking ceiling. It collapsed down, releasing a pool of milk into the room. Now's my chance. The dark minions were washed away, and I swam up the pillar of milk into the depths of the house. When I finally reached the top, I found myself inside of the attic, where a milkshake was waiting on the other side of a milky river. That's the first item on my list. Before I was able to go for it, a dark beast manifested in front of me.
You're not getting your hands on this. Xenobus will consume you.
The monster came after me. He flew up in the air and moved all around me, hitting me with his claws and tail. I used my blood slashes to retaliate as fast as I could. It was difficult while he used his own magic, summoning lightning and levitating me before slamming me into the ground. Using my abilities, I knocked the beast into the milk rapids below and platformed to the milkshake. I claimed my sweet prize, causing me to transform into an even more powerful body. I gained 3 more hearts and a dark barrage power. However, I could once again feel the darkness consuming me. I can't control it. I succumbed to the possession and started to rampage. On days 6 through 7, I smashed through the wall of my house and landed onto the pavement outside. There, I saw my wife and kids running away. You're all supposed to be asleep! I ran after them until we reached the city. I chased them down various streets until they took cover inside of a museum. I followed them into the building, but to my surprise, they were nowhere to be found. The walls were silent. Come out, come out! Dad is going to punish you! Just then, out of the corner of my eye, I spotted one of my kids run by. I pursued him until I finally managed to corner him inside of a generator room. As I closed in, he splashed me with a bucket of water.
Get away!
The water poured into the room, hitting the generator. It malfunctioned and all the lights went off. Where did you go? You won't escape punishment! On days 8 through 9, I searched through the dark museum for any signs of my family. As I wandered through the halls, I finally spotted a glimpse of light. It's past 10! The light should be off! I barreled into the hallway to find that it was lined with glowing paintings on the walls. Once I finally reached the end, all that remained was a single giant artwork, shining bright light. You can't hide from me! Come out! Suddenly, a terrifying cauldron monster popped out of the painting.
We've got you now.
The creature came after me, dumping his minions on me, and I tried to fight back, but they were stronger than anything else I had been up against thus far, and the tight hallway made it hard to avoid his giant slam. Despite my efforts, I got hit with an unlucky blow, knocking me into the painting on the wall. I was transported into another world. On days 10 through 12, I appeared inside of the painting world, where I saw a massive crystal standing in front of me. There's the next ingredient I need. Just then, the cauldron monster from before crawled out from the portal. He had followed me into the painting.
You're gonna be trapped here forever.
The cauldron monster lunged at me, and I ran towards the crystal. I tried to take it with me, or smash it to bits, but I wasn't strong enough.
You're mine.
I thought I was done for, but I was able to dodge the monster's incoming attack just in time. Instead, he collided with the crystal, causing it to shatter into pieces. I took a shard for myself and gained 3 hearts. The power of the crystal transported me back into the museum, where the lights were now back to normal. Ow, my head. It looks like I have some control for now. Suddenly, I heard the sound of children screaming. Wait, that sounds like my kids! I ran towards the source of the screams as fast as my legs could carry me. My family was in danger. On days 13 through 15, I ran towards the source of the yelling to find Xenobus abducting my kids right outside. Let them go! Xenobus flew over my kids and slashed me with his deadly scythe. My attacks seemed to pass through him as a ghost. Nothing seemed to be landing.
What makes you think you have the power to stop me? You're under my control.
The dark entity activated his powers, causing my mind to go wild. I once again lost control of my body. I began to destroy everything around me, putting my children at risk.
Dad, please stop! I know you're in there!
I'm sorry! I have to leave before I hurt you! I gathered enough willpower to escape the area before hurting any of my loved ones. Unfortunately, that meant they were left with Xenobus. I'm powerless compared to that dark entity. I have to make the ultimate potion if I want to stand a chance. Suddenly, a portal of light appeared before me. What the? Is this a trick? I could feel something calling me in closer. I knew it had to be the next ingredient to the ultimate potion, so I walked inside. On days 16 to 18, I arrived in the realm of light, where I was met with an angelic entity. Something felt off though.
You don't belong here. I sense your corruption.
But I need to find everything on this list if I want to save my family. I must find everything.
I don't believe your evil tongue. Die!
Suddenly, a fleet of angels came in to attack me. I was ambushed. What the heck? I tried to fight back, but their light-infused weapons dealt a massive amount of damage. I couldn't manage a single scratch. I used my dark powers against them, but it seemed like they were only getting stronger. I was being flung around the sky as if I was their toy. My powers didn't hurt a single feather on their wings as much as I tried, but even the slightest touch, I felt like the light was burning my skin.
Fool! Angels are immune to dark powers.
I ran and took cover in a nearby building, where luckily I found a divine sword. Maybe I can fight back with their own weapons. I picked it up, and suddenly an archangel broke into the room.
It's the end of the line. Be gone.
he charged at me with all of their might. On days 19 to 22, I was fighting the Archangel with my new divine sword. They used their angelic attacks on me, but thanks to this new sword, I was able to land a few hits.
You turned our own blade on us.
That's not all I'll do. Ah! I fought back with everything I had. I knew I had to defeat this Archangel if I wanted to be successful. I ran towards him at full force, but he dodged my hit by flying up into the sky. I used my newly acquired blade and swung away at him, landing some heavy hits. The Archangel jumped back and threw his sword at me full force. I got back up after that hit, but he flew into the sky and rapidly spun towards me. I used my attacks and I was able to do some good damage on him before he flew up in the sky. I thought he would do the same attacks, but instead he landed, piercing the ground with his sword, causing it to shake underneath us, launching me several feet away. Get out of my way! I sliced the Archangel down, causing him to drop his wings. I claimed the angel wings, causing me to transform into my third form. I gained 2 more hearts and the ability to fly. My dark powers were all strengthened by this form as well. I'm 1 ingredient closer to the ultimate potion. Suddenly, an angelic fleet flew towards me.
There's the murderer! Get him!
The angels flew after me as the new portal revealed itself. I jumped through before it was too late. On days 23 to 26, I returned to the real world, where I found my wife wandering around the city. Sweetie, I'm so glad to see you! Ah! She got startled and began running away for her life. I quickly chased after her. No, wait, come back! She ran into a building, and I followed behind until I cornered her inside.
You're not my husband anymore. You're a monster. Get away from me.
Suddenly, we both heard a knock at the nearby door.
Someone's there? Help!
No, wait! She answered the door and was met with the same man that possessed me.
Another soul for the taking.
He possessed her, turning her into a weird, strict mom. She turned back to me.
Only one parent can be out this late, and that parent is me.
Wait, it's not even that late. She attacked me. On days 27 to 30, I was being attacked by my possessed wife. She used her blood attacks on me. I didn't want to retaliate. I didn't want to hurt her.
Die! Die! Die!
As she rushed at me, I had no choice but to shoot her with my void powers as I tried to defend myself. Her powers were similar to my own, but not as strong. That didn't mean she didn't pack a punch though. She slashed and hacked at me, trying with all of her might to put me down, speeding around the room with intense ferocity. I have no idea what to do. Instead of fighting, I left the building and blocked the exit with some nearby materials.
Let me out of here!
I'm sorry, sweetie. I'll find a way to fix this. I fled the building until I found a trail of eggs on the ground. What the? Is this another clue? I followed the trail and it led me to a volcano. I was certain the next ingredient must be inside. I headed into the caves of the volcano where I found a nest at the center. Inside was the lava egg I needed for my potion. Don't mind if I do. As I approached it, a phoenix flew in from above to stop me.
These are my eggs! Get away from here, intruder!
She attacked me! On days 31 to 34, I was fighting the Phoenix to try and claim the next ingredient I needed. Come on, I can't catch a break! I was in an aerial battle of epic proportions. I blasted the beast with my void attacks, and she retaliated with enormous gusts of wind that knocked me back. Then, she shot a barrage of flame powers, making the area even more scorching hot than it already was. I dodged to the best of my ability, dodging fire blasts left and right. I sped towards her, smashing her with an enormous attack. Take this! I landed a clean hit, stunning the Phoenix for a moment. I took my chance to grab the lava egg and gained 3 hearts.
Unhand my baby!
Suddenly, the Phoenix activated her fire powers. She was going to make this place erupt. I ran for my life as lava began to fill up the area. I escaped just as the volcano exploded. However, I was accidentally hit with part of the eruption, getting set on fire. Ah! Water! I need water! I flew until I found a nearby body of water and dove in to extinguish the flames. However, I felt something wrap around my ankles and drag me deeper. On days 35 to 38, I was pulled into the depths of the water by a squid monster.
I'm going to kill you before you can kill me.
Let go of me, you freak! The squid tried to drown me, but I used my shadow barrage attacks to break free from his tentacles. I swam back to the surface and spotted an island on the distance.
Get back here!
The squid came swimming rapidly towards me as I swam for my life. I managed to make it to shore before the sea monster could capture me again. The next ingredient I need is a squid. I'm going to have to slay that monster if I want it. I knew running in blind was a bad idea, so I began to come up with a plan. I'll use the items I found on the island to begin building a trap. After some sweat and tears, I was done, and I called out to the ocean, "Hey, fish for brains, come and get me!"
What did you call me?
The squid lunged out of the water and tried to attack me on the shore, falling right into my trap.
You think you can trick me? You'll pay for this!
Suddenly, the squid became empowered with rage and broke out of the trap, even stronger than before. My plan backfired. Uh-oh. On days 39 to 42, I was fighting the empowered squid. He shot deadly lasers from his eyes. In a rage, it used its sand attacks on me, kicking up deadly sand blasts with its massive tentacles. I desperately tried to stay on land, but the squid was relentless.
I'm taking this to my domain!
The squid knocked me into the water, giving it the upper hand. I began swimming as fast as I could towards the shore. Even as the squid continued on its onslaught, it managed to strike me with a few heavy blows along the way, but I was able to make it. I've got one last shot. I used my dark barrage attack right on its eye as it re-emerged from the sea, and I killed it once and for all. He dropped a mini squid, which I claimed for my ultimate potion. Thanks to the experience from the fight, I gained 3 hearts and a new seismic slash power. There we go. Another ingredient for the cure is secured. Suddenly, I spotted my possessed wife roaming the nearby area. What's she doing here? Quiet as a mouse, I tailed behind her to see if I could find some more information. On days 43 to 46, I followed my wife until I arrived at a junkyard. There, she was speaking to one of my children who was trapped in a cage.
You've been a very bad boy. Mom is gonna have to punish you.
Mom, please! This isn't you! Snap out of it!
Naughty boys don't get to speak.
She was about to attack him, and I jumped in to intervene. Leave him alone!
You, get out of my way!
With a shriek of rage, she attacked me. I used my new powers on her, flying around her and making myself harder to reach. All the meanwhile, she slashed at me with her nails, digging into my skin and causing some significant damage. She was vicious in this possessed form, but I was still more powerful than her. I continued to strike her with my sword, sending her into a fury. She roared in anger and suddenly grew twice as large. It was apparent that she'd become much stronger than before. She picked up and flung a boulder at me, careless to the destruction she was causing. I fought back, desperate to keep my child safe. Finally, I was able to knock her out with one last slam attack. There's no time to waste. I ran over to the cage and broke it open, freeing my son.
Thank you, Dad.
Kill him. You know you want to.
Abruptly, Xenobus' voice manifested in my head. Stop! Get out of my head!
Dad, are you okay?
Yeah. Don't you worry, son. I could feel my dark powers beginning to consume me once again. I needed to get out of here. I looked around and noticed a TV in the junkyard, and something about it lured me closer. I ran toward it, and to my surprise, I passed through it like a portal. On days 47 to 50, I appeared inside of a hall, lined with different math questions on the wall. Whoa, I guess one of my new abilities lets me travel through TV screens. I better keep that in mind. I traversed the strange hallways until I was stopped by a locked door. In front of it was a sign asking me to solve a math problem. 2 plus 2, that's easy. The answer is 4. Suddenly, the door opened and I pressed on further inside. I was soon met with another door. The question was a bit harder, but I managed to answer it too. 20 minus 5? The answer is 15. The door opened, and soon I arrived at the next door with the biggest math question yet. What is 87,232,904 minus 234,872? Do I look like a calculator? Unfortunately, the door didn't budge. 24? Suddenly, the room began to shake violently. I think that means I got it wrong. I turned down a different path and ran for my life. On days 51 to 54, I ran for my life as something big came running behind me. I didn't know what it was or what it looked like, but I could hear it was close. I don't want to get caught by that thing. I need to get out of here. I ran as fast as my legs could carry me until I stumbled into a laboratory. Inside, a brain sat on a lone table. That's another ingredient that I need for the potion. I smashed through the glass case that was holding it and grabbed the brain, gaining 3 more hearts. Weird that a brain gave me more health. I ran for the door out of the lab, but when I tried to open it, I realized it was now locked. Oh no, that thing is gonna get me. I braced myself as the rampaging footsteps grew louder and louder. On days 55 to 56, the monster broke into the room. A Hydra with 3 heads and yellow tracings down his chest and back. I prepared myself for an epic battle. The Hydra swung in, attacking me with its crystals. Before I could do anything, crystals fell from the sky, shattering around me, and tiny shards of glass pierced my skin. They summoned crystals in a row in front of me. He ran towards me with full force, trapping me in a corner, but I was able to make it out. I shot at him, but he retaliated by shooting a bewitching beam at me, holding me captive where I stood. He took advantage of it and rammed into me at full force, causing immense amounts of damage. More crystals fell from the sky, but I noticed that they were affecting my vision. I shook it off and landed a heavy hit on him, and one of his 3 heads fell to the ground. He dug down into the ground to retreat from the hit, and I frantically searched for him before he could attack me unexpectedly. Traces of dirt and gravel covered the ground where he reappeared from under. They were tough, but the 3 extra hearts I just gained were helping to give me an edge over the beast. Finally, I managed to take them down, and a TV appeared before me that I knew must be the exit. Oh good, I'm getting out of here. I escaped the math labyrinth and found myself back in the overworld. However, I began to feel strange. The sensation took over me completely, and I passed out from exhaustion. On days 57 through 59, I woke up inside of my house, dazed and confused as to how I got there. What the? How did I get back here? Suddenly, I spotted Xenobus levitate past my line of vision. The horrible entity that haunted me had shrunken himself in size to fit inside of my home. I didn't say you could be here. I gathered my strength and began chasing Xenobus through the house. I bolted around the furniture of the living room and up the stairs to the 2nd floor, where I saw him slip away into my children's bedroom. As I pursued the invader, I couldn't help but notice that he acted strangely. His normally threatening demeanor was one full of fear as he tried to hide behind furniture. Unfortunately for him, I wasn't going to fall for his tricks. Get back here! I chased him back down the stairs and into the basement, where I finally managed to corner him inside of the library. I slowly inched towards him as he began to throw books at me in a desperate attempt to keep me away. You're mine now.
Dad, please stop this!
Suddenly, the sound of my son's voice snapped me out of my trance. I returned to reality, where I was now standing in the middle of a forest, and instead of Xenobus, my son was cowering in fear. I was never in my house to begin with. It was all a trick. Oh no, it was a hallucination. I'm so sorry, son.
What's going on? Why are you acting so weird?
It's that dark entity, Xenobus. I should have never answered that door. He has possessed me to try and kill you and your brother.
But what about Mom? She's acting the same as you.
Xenobus got her too, and as long as we're under his influence, you're not safe around us. Just then, I felt my murderous urges sink into my mind once again. I held it back for now, but I wasn't sure how long I could hold it back. Listen, you need to find your brother and hide until I'm able to create a cure. I love you, son. My son listened to me and ran away, leaving me alone in the woods. I was determined now more than ever to craft the ultimate potion and save my family from Xenobus' terror. I began to leave the area to continue my search for the ingredients. As I walked, my vision began to blur at random moments. What's going on? Did I hit my head or something? I tried to find my way around, but with my vision going in and out, it was impossible to navigate. I was soon lost. Oh no, where am I? On days 60 to 62, I wandered around aimlessly until I stumbled upon a clinic. Maybe someone in there can help me. I walked inside of the clinic, and to my delight, I spotted an awkward potion waiting inside on the counter. Not only is it the next ingredient that I needed to get, but I think it might help me fix my eyesight. I went and tried to grab it, but my vision blurred again. I took a moment to refocus my eyesight, but right when it did, the potion had disappeared. What the?
Sorry, bub. That potion is mine.
I turned to see a little dark imp minion running off with my potion. Oh no you don't, come back here. I used my dark barrage attack and snipped the little guy out. He dropped it, and I quickly used some of it on my eyes. Not only had I gained 3 hearts, and my eyes were also restored to normal, in fact, they were better than normal. I could now shoot lasers out of them. As I was admiring my better vision, I spotted smoke rings outside in the distance. Huh, what's going on over there? I better check it out. I urgently flew towards the ever-climbing smoke in the sky. On days 63 through 66, I arrived at the source of the smoke to find a house on fire. Suddenly, I heard familiar voices calling for help inside of the burning house.
Dad, help me!
I don't want to die!
Oh no, my kids! I ran into the flaming house, but to my shock, I discovered an empty room. Nothing was inside other than the flames burning. What kind of sick trick is this? A TV screen lit up in the corner of the room, revealing Xenobus.
I knew you couldn't ignore the cries of your own children.
You monster! What have you done with them?
You should be more worried about what will happen to you.
What do you mean?
You will give in to your dark power or die in this burning building. So long!
The TV powered off and the doors locked behind me. I was now trapped. On days 67 to 70, I tried to escape the locked room before I was burnt alive. I first tried to break through the walls by force, but they wouldn't budge a bit. That's right, I can teleport through TVs. I ran towards the TV screen, but before I could jump in, the ceiling collapsed, blocking my exit. No! I thought I was all out of options until I realized that the disaster may have actually opened up a new opportunity. I looked up to find a massive hole in the ceiling where I was able to make my way up. Once I made it to the upper floor, I found the source of the fire. It was a flaming fruit. I navigated through the flames and grabbed the fruit, gaining me 3 hearts and causing all the flames around me to extinguish. Looks like Xenobus' plan backfired. A new passageway opened in the wall, and I made my way through. I arrived inside of a labyrinth that was filled with doors, leading to who knows where. What is this place? Suddenly, I saw my wife walking through one of the doors. I couldn't let her escape. I began to follow behind her, chasing her through the twists and turns of all the different doors that ended up leading me out of another door in the labyrinth. I finally managed to corner her inside of a room full of glass, but to my surprise, the room was empty. Where did she go? Suddenly, the doorway shut by itself behind me, and Xenobus appeared in front of me in the flesh.
Looks like you escaped my little fire trap.
You thought a little fire would take me down? You are wrong.
You are still too weak to fight me. Surrender now.
Surrender? What? Are you scared of fighting me? I'll grind you to dust.
Grind me into dust? Huh. I guess we'll just have to end this another way then.
Suddenly, my wife ambushed me out of nowhere. She was completely consumed by Xenobus' dark powers. On days 75 to 78, I fought my wife once again, but this time I didn't think I'd be able to make it out alive. She was still buffed up from her enraged state, and she was even using Xenobus' dark powers. She surged boulders at me left and right, but I destroyed them with my laser eyes. I started using my blood slashes while flying around her. She summoned Xenobus' dark powers, creating a giant mass that caused a lot of damage. She moved around with ease, using her powerful stomps to knock me back. My void attacks were enough to catch her off guard, and I was able to shoot my beam at her. Honey, he's using you! Can't you see? She continued attacking me, when suddenly she hit one of the glass piles, causing it to shatter. On the other side of the shattered glass was a magic orb, waiting to be claimed. If I can't get through to you, maybe this will! I grabbed the magic orb and gained 3 more hearts, as well as a new blood barrage attack. I unleashed my new powers on my wife, causing her to stop in her tracks. She shrunk back down and returned to normal.
Bronzo, what's going on? Why am I here?
No! My spell! You will pay!
Suddenly, Xenobus used his dark magic to gain influence over me again. I began to lose control over my body. I ran towards Mom, but she made the floor fall from underneath me, sending me down into another room.
Come back for me and the kids. I love you.
On days 79 to 82, I landed into an unfamiliar room. It was dark, and random clutter was strewn everywhere. What is this place? Doesn't matter. Let's just get out of here. I looked around again and realized I couldn't see an immediate exit. What the? Who's there? Who's talking to me? Get out of my head! I scrambled around, trying to find the source of the noise, or at least an exit to escape through. But as I pushed through the clutter endlessly, I found neither. Be quiet! Be quiet! I got so enraged in my search, I accidentally walked right into a fire trap. The endless clutter around the room went up in flames. Now there's a fire! The room is as cursed as I am! I quickly fought against the flames, and after only getting burned a few times, I had succeeded in putting them out. Whew, that was close. Suddenly, I heard flames spring to life. From nowhere, fires reappeared around the room. I entered an endless cycle of dousing the flames, and still the voice never ceased. I'm going to go crazy! Show yourself! Suddenly, a clearer voice caught my attention, and I turned to see a cat with a curious look on its face.
My, you've gotten yourself into quite the predicament.
On days 83 to 86, I was faced with a mysterious cat. The whispers still gnawed at my mind, but they were now quieter with the cat here. Who are you? Are you the one whispering to me?
Oh, heavens no. I am merely an observer.
Well then, where are we?
I don't think you should be worrying about that. You should be worrying about the dog that is following you. It is heavy and dangerous.
Well, Xenobus did curse me.
That explains it. The curse on its own is bad enough, but now it has attracted some evil spirits to you.
Spirits? But I don't see anyone.
You cannot see them, not yet. But they are the reason you are hearing voices. Don't worry, I can help.
Suddenly, cat ears appeared in front of me.
Use this as a lucky charm and an ingredient for that potion of yours. It will let you see the spirits and fight back.
Those aren't yours, are they? You know what? Never mind. Thanks for all the help. I grabbed the cat ears and gained 3 hearts, as if a fog was lifted. I also could see the exit to the room. I'm out of here. I returned to the overworld, but the voice started to bombard me once again. They yelled louder than before. Oh no, here they come! On days 87 to 90, evil spirits emerged from all around me. They formed a closed circle, surrounding me with whispers. But thanks to the cat ears, I could now see them clear as day. Ha! You all don't get it yet. I can see you. No more hiding away. I'm fighting you annoying things once and for all. The spirits were flustered as I charged right at them, ready to brawl. Their ghostly hands were grabbing and swinging at me from every angle. I used my blood slashes against them to fend them off, but they retaliated like it was nothing. They were floating around me constantly, using their power and strength to try and overpower me. I flew circles around them myself, casting my void attack on them. Their supernatural wits were out of this world. They were tough opponents. Being spirits meant they could shrug off most of my attacks, but eventually I took them all out. Finally free from the whispers. I was able to win, but got pretty beat up. I'm famished. I need to find something to eat. Driven by my hunger, I wandered in search of food. Eventually, I traveled to a lone building and made my way inside. Waiting for me there on the edge of a table was a plate of donuts. Perfect. That's just what I needed. I eagerly walked towards them, but before I could grab me one, they disappeared and reappeared further into the building. Hey, get back here! Too hungry to give up, I chased the plate of teleporting donuts. On days 91 to 93, I chased the elusive desserts all around the building. After a while, I finally cornered them in a room, blocking the exit. All right, you're mine now. Prepare to be eaten. The sweets did not respond as I slowly moved towards them.
Not so fast.
My approach was interrupted when a monster suddenly appeared out of thin air in front of me.
Those are my donuts.
Well, I didn't see your name on them. They charged at me with fury in their eyes, and their swords swung in the air. I went in for the attack, but he was able to dodge my hit and summoned his minions. I now had to worry about 2 other ghosts, but I did everything I could to fight them. I used my attacks on 3 pumpkin heads and killed his 2 little minions, but right when I was about to land a heavy hit on the main pumpkin head, he spawned in a pumpkin explosive as he teleported away to avoid my hit. I ran towards him, and he galloped towards me, swinging his sharp sword. I withheld his slashing attacks as I used my fists and everything I had to my disposal. The battle was proving tough since I was already at low health to begin with. More minions appeared, and now I once again had to worry about them alongside the ghost. I noticed that the floor had kept burning under me, only to realize that every time he teleported, he left poison on the ground. He pulled out his gun and began shooting me with poisonous bullets. I fought back with my powers and shot my beam at him. I went in for the final blow, but his head disappeared, leaving only his body. I had to pull out the last of my strength as he pulled out his second sword and was ready to defend himself blindly. I used everything I had left and defeated his body. Right as I was about to go for the donuts, the floating pumpkin head reappeared.
Give up. Your soul is going to Xenobus.
I knew it! You are working for Xenobus! I'll never give up! I knocked the monster away, then dove for the donuts. As I grabbed them, I suddenly gained 3 hearts, and my I-beam was now unstoppable. Time to end this. Rejuvenated, I sent out one last I-beam and overwhelmed it until finally I brought them down. Nice! Only one more ingredient to go. On days 94 to 96, I began searching the city for the final ingredient, spaghetti and meatballs. What a strange thing to need for a potion. I'm sure I'll find it no problem though. As I explored, I began to notice different objects around the city were being replaced by food items. Why is there a giant hamburger here? I began to get a bad feeling. Something wasn't quite right. Suddenly, I found an altar of food standing before me. Huh? When did that get here?
Approach.
Who's that?
It is I, the food altar. What is it that you desire, traveler?
Well, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. I've been looking for some good old spaghetti and meatballs.
Very well. Bring me a tomato, noodles, and meatballs, and I will make your wish come true.
You're on! On days 97 to 98, I explored the city in search of all the items that I needed for the talking altar. First, I found a giant tomato building. Using my powers, I cut it into smaller pieces for easier transport. That's 1. Next, I found a swarm of noodle snakes and killed them for their spaghetti. And that's 2. Now I just need to find meatballs. But where do I find them? I scoured the city, but I had no luck until I got an idea. I began digging downward and realized that the dirt under my feet was in fact meat. Happily, I harvested the meat and soon had as many meatballs as I wanted. Final ingredient secured. I returned to the talking altar and presented everything I had collected.
Wonderful work. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for.
There was a flash of light, and the ingredients transformed into spaghetti and meatballs. Yes, I've got it! I grabbed the meal and gained 3 additional hearts. Now I had everything I needed to create the ultimate potion. On day 99, I returned back to my home, where my journey first began, and I went into the basement, where a cauldron awaited my arrival. It's time to craft the ultimate potion. I threw all the ingredients into the pot, and it began to glow. Suddenly, it spit out a potion bottle. I created the cure. I did it! I grabbed the bottle, but before I could drink it, Xenobus arrived.
You've proven to be a real pain, you know.
You're too late. Once I drink this, you'll have no control over me. I can finally be free.
Have you forgotten who I have as my prisoners?
Out of thin air, Xenobus made my family appear in a cage right in front of me.
Bronzo! Dad!
Let them go! They've done nothing to you!
Why would I listen to you? In fact, I think it's time that I remind you who owns your soul.
He knocked the bottle out of my hand and casted dark magic on me. I began to go mad again. I couldn't control myself. I was too powerful. Ah! On day 100, I was under the dark influence of Xenobus' powers, and I couldn't break free.
That's right, my puppet. Now kill these pathetic humans.
I began to run towards my family, ready to attack, until my wife called out to me.
Bronzo, I know you're in there! Break free from his evil grasp! You can do it!
Dad, don't you remember all the fun times we had together?
Suddenly, I gained a grasp of self-control and remembered the mission I was set out to do. You're all right! I must resist him! I dashed and grabbed the potion and drank it. I instantly gained 10 hearts and full control over my powers and my own body.
No!
Now you're going to get a taste of my true strength. I fought Xenobus head on. I blasted my beam at him, but I ended up shooting the ceiling, causing a hole to be created, leading to the outside. Xenobus flew out, trying to create some distance between us, but I flew after him as fast as I could. I hit him with the beam, causing destruction all around us. The trees didn't stand a chance against our intense battle. It all ends here, Xenobus. All your plots, evil schemes, everything.
You can dream, Bronzo. It's you who will perish here.
He created a black hole, pulling me in, immediately holding me captive. He slashed his scythe in every direction he could, landing numerous hits on me, but I was able to fight back, thanks to having full control of my powers. Constant dark powers were being thrown at me, but I kept doing my best to fight it with everything I could. We were both neck and neck, but with the power of the ultimate potion, I had full control over myself. For my family! I defeated Xenobus, blasting a deadly beam at him, saving my family. Yes!